So good morning, everyone. Thank you for the participation here and the organization. Thanks for the opportunity also in this event. So I am Aline, I'm from Brazil. I live in São Paulo, but I am currently doing my master in Florianópolis, a city in the south of Brazil. And in my master, I am investigating how to improve the routes and the information available for pedestrians on navigation apps. I prepared this very short presentation. Just let me see who is telling me. Yes, I can see. Okay. And I hope you all enjoy. I think at the end of this presentation, we will have 10 minutes to any comments or questions. So I look forward to hear you. So let me start talking about, how did we get in the urban sensing, right? So at the end of the 19th century, we saw the information and the communication technologies, the ICT, become an important part of our daily life. And the devices have become an extension of human beings. And this was added to the whole big data movement at the beginning of the century, which translated the growth of the data as a solution of many challenges that we face today. So the ICT, together with the big data movement, had designated the sensing technologies, which are, which are mainly based on sensors that can monitor and capture a big amount of data, of different kind of data that can be analyzed and translated and transformed into new and valuable information for public use or any other kind of projects. So when we think about these sensing technologies applied on urban environment, we can call that an urban sensing. And in this case, the urban elements become interconnected and they are capable of capture data of the city, sometimes in real time. So IoT solutions can be urban sensing once they interconnect things to capture new data. An example of urban sensing in present times is the project Array of Things in Chicago. It was founded in 2019. It is a collaborative project involving different scientists, governments, universities, and it is composed by these modular nodes, this one here at the right of the screen. This modular has different sensors and computing capability. You can see here the node components, and it was placed in different spots of the city. And it can measure, for instance, the number of cars at an intersection or the most populated routes for late night walks. It can measure the noise level or the air pollution level of a street. So it has many possibilities of data, and they have a very nice project. I suggest you go in their website. It's a very interesting project. Another example of urban sensing, but in a smaller scale, is the Smart Citizen Kit. This project began in 2012 in Fab Lab Barcelona. They developed this little blue box with different sensors that can measure air pollution, noise, temperature, and humidity. And the nice thing about this project is that as it is an open source project, so anyone can build your own kit and measure data of your own place, the place you live or work every day. So it has this political aspect of citizen engagement and participation, and all the connected boxes and data are available on an open and online platform that anyone can have access and follow the data in real time. Another very similar project is the Frackbox. This one was created by the Citizen Sense Lab at the University of Cambridge in 2015. And it's also an open project. It has, I think, 3 or 4 more sensors than the Smart Citizen Kit. So they can also measure the wind speed, the wind direction, and also organic compounds. And it has a Raspberry Pi, which make the store of data stronger, more potent, there's more potential. And the nice thing about this project is that it is a mailbox, right? So you can build your own mailbox with all those sensors and install it on your yard of your homes. So it's a very creative way of thinking about these urban technologies applied on city. And another way to collect urban data is through the smartphones. So smartphones, they have GPS, they have sensors, and they also have information that are being created and shared on social media and by the mobile crowd sensing technique. So all this information, especially this one on social media, it's valuable because it shows a lot about the impression and the emotions of citizens that are experiment the urban environment. So with all these examples that I presented here of monitor, track, and collect urban data, we start to believe that we are living in a real matrix, right? So jokes apart, the urban data is already a reality from our cities. And the city has become this open lab, this matrix of data. But what is the plan? What can we do with all this data? There are many possibilities, but one of them that I am investigating is how this urban data can improve navigation systems for pedestrians. So nowadays we have different types of applications for pedestrians. Many of them track the pedestrian's path or measure the pedestrian's heart rate or footsteps and so on. But here, the app that I am studying is the navigation apps that suggest a route based on a start point and on an end point. So a few examples are the Google Maps, the most known, the City Mapper, Here We Go, and Waze. So this kind of navigation app that I am investigating right now and how to improve the route and information for pedestrians. This kind of navigation app is very well known for spatial orientation. So here is a funny fact. I got the habit of traveling on Google Maps during this quarantine. And I was traveling in Florianopolis, the city where I am studying. And I saw this guy very lost with his cell phone on his hand next to this street sign. And probably he was with a navigation app trying to find his way around and to get some spatial orientation. So yeah, pedestrians, they use a lot of navigation apps nowadays. Yeah. Just a little bit. Okay. However, the navigation apps, they calculate the route based on two main informations, which are the time and the distance, mainly because these kind of apps were created to attend cars and vehicles, and only after some time they developed other modalities such bicycle and pedestrians. And as we know, when we are walking in the streets, there are many more informations that can be useful and helpful to improve our experience when walking in public space. So time and distance sometimes are not sufficient to plan a pleasant and safe route for pedestrians, right? And in that way, the sensing technology can help a lot. Once they can monitor and capture data, and this data can be analyzed and transformed into new and valuable information that can be introduced on devices and apps. So when we think about navigation apps, we can introduce new information layers in the pedestrian routes. Therefore, the navigation apps would not only be useful to spatial orientation, but also to lead pedestrians to a less polluted street or a more quiet street, a safe and shine street at night, and so on. There are many examples because there are many types of data nowadays with the development of the sensing technologies. So some projects are already being think and exploring this possibility. An example would be the Likeways app. This one collects social media data to calculate the most attractive route. So the routes with more people, with more services, but it's not exclusive for pedestrians. Then the other app is the air quality app, which checks the air pollution of some streets. And it has a map that shows the most green streets, the most healthier streets to walk, to cycle, and the most polluted streets in the city. But both of them are not specifically for pedestrians, even though Google is already tracking some possibilities, and maybe we will have some different information layers very soon in one of the most popular navigation apps. And we also have been seeing many improvements on digital cartography and its information. So this project is a project from 2006 by the MIT Sensible City Lab. So they collect real-time data from cell phones, buses, and taxis in Rome to better understand the urban dynamics in real time. And they show in the map the areas with more density at different times of the day. So on red, we can see the areas with more density. And with this information, people can choose if they want to go to a more crowded area or a more quiet neighborhood. I think this project is from 2006, but it's very useful right now with the whole pandemic scenario and social isolation, right? And the same lab, the MIT Sensible City Lab, they launched this year another project called Desirable Streets, which they analyzed data captured from GPS, the active GPSs. And they conclude that pedestrians, they choose to walk around 10% farther than their shortest path on navigation apps. So they started to analyze the built environment of the streets chosen by the pedestrians. Sorry. And they detect three main features that characterize the desirable street, as they call it. The first one is the access to parks. The second is the nerve shops and the businesses. And the third is the sidewalks and the street furnitures. Therefore, it was created a map of Boston with routes comparing the built environment and of a desirable street and the shortest desirable route, and the shortest route. And I think the project is not only a way to improve routes for pedestrians, but also to evaluate the urban space, right? Considering the aspects of desirable streets and all the urban projects. And the last project that I present here is the map of the Good City Life. The Good City Life is a group of researchers that create and develop digital maps based on social media data. And so they trace comments, pictures, tags on social media and cross them with the pin location. And then they translate all of this data on specific digital maps. So if you go in their website, you can find a smell map that shows the smell of different streets of London. It has a lot of different maps. It's very interesting. The map that I chose to show here is the ambience map that shows the potential ambiances of each neighborhood of London. So you can see that it's a very personal data. It talks a lot about the emotions and the impression of people. And they also put here the pictures posted on social media that they analyzed. So with all these examples, we can see all the many possibilities that the navigation apps can include in their information in the information layers. And I think as a pedestrians, we should start to question ourselves what information is relevant for you during your trips, and how can we measure this data? Do we have already technology for that? I think the navigation apps can be a tool that can offer us another approach to urban environment, and also encourage the walking, the sustainable mobility in digital cities. And I think that's it, guys. Right now in my master, I am investigating how relevant is the information, the built environment information on this kind of app, the navigation app, having Florianopolis, the city where I am studying, as a study case. So I finish here my presentation. If you want to comment something, here is my contact also. And